All right, Dolphin people, how do we feel about this Tua contract? Now, he's not the top guy in the league, but he's like up in there. And so, like, it doesn't really matter when it comes to this point. Um, hey, it is what it is. It's one of them things where it's like we haven't had a quarterback worth a damn for. I'm gonna need more fingers. I'm gonna hit, and I'm gonna really be counting. And I was like, so I sort of get it. Look, you don't want to be where we've been of being like it's a quarterback purgatory type of place, or it's not even purgatory. I was like, it's more hell because I was like, I would say Chad Pennington was like purgatory, where it's like, oh, we're good, yeah, we're good, yeah. But other than that, it's really just been like hell. So I was like, I get why you had to do it. I was like, McDaniels, he fit into the system. There's good weapons around, great weapons around him. You know, I think I'm fine with the contract. It is what it is. I was like, it's the going rate for quarterbacks. Whether or not that's just what it is. It ain't like we were going to get him on like some Baker Mayfield type of contract or nothing like that. He's out doing that. He's still young. It is what it is. I guess the point that I was like, it's weird to me is that, like, okay, so, like RG3 and like other people were talking about basically, Tua's earned this, he deserved this, and it's a tricky thing because they're like, why wasn't he the highest paid quarterback? He deserved to be the highest paid quarterback, and it was like over Burrow and Goff and Trevor Lawrence and stuff like that when he's been the better quarterback in that same amount of time. And I what I don't like is being in this position where it's like saying he didn't deserve it, earn it, because I was like, you do. Like that's the money they gave you. You put yourself in a spot to where they gotta pay you. So you do. But the other comparison of it of being like him deserving to be the highest paid quarterback, I think that's a little bit false, because that's not how like don't try to cheapen what, or like make us all think that we're like dumb in this. That is like, no, what happens is when it's your turn to be paid, you become the highest paid quarterback normally. Not that you don't necessarily deserve to do that. I was like, because if that was the case, then Tom Brady would have been the top quarterback. I was like paid quarterback all the time, and everybody else would have been underneath that. But that's not how the game works. Like, you deserve the money you get, but you don't necessarily deserve to be the highest paid quarterback. That's just how normal transactions go. Like, you see it in the NBA, like a max player doesn't necessarily deserve that contract necessarily by sometimes how they play. It's really just the position that the team is in and things like that. That's what this is. Like, normally the quarterbacks become the highest paid, not necessarily because they're the best or anything like that, but they put themselves in a position. You're the football team, like, well, we can't lose our quarterback. We drafted this guy and all this other stuff. That's normally why you become the highest paid. Because I was like, with Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Goff there, and it's like they're like, oh, he was better than those guys previous. Is like, why would a two? It's like, well, first of all three of them got playoff wins and they won a division. Tua hadn't done that. I don't care about. I was like, your stats work here, but you also get to be matched up against your peers. You don't just get to work in like one aspect. Also, compared to, I was like, outside of Burrow, who has really great weapons around him for his time that he's been there, Trevor Lawrence had like poo-poo around him. And Goff, I was like, St. Brown, I was like, has like got better and better and better each year. He's been phenomenal. But there also hadn't been like weapons around Goff on the offense either, until pretty much really like last year, where they actually had like the running backs, the receiver, the tight end. They actually had like a more. So I was like, we got to look at everything. You can't just look and be like, Tua putting up these great numbers. He's a top 5 quarterback. Why did he get treated like that? It's like, no, let's also look at the fact that it's like you have a receiver that also, like, you had 2 before like injuries were just derailed it, of like being like 1 or 2,000 yard receiver, and another one that's breaking that, where it's like they both have had like over like 1,200 yards type stuff. Like, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm fluctuating the number, just rounding out. But you got two top receivers that make also Tua great in that aspect. But also at the same time, look, Lamar underneath Tua, he won the MVP. So you can't also be. That's why I was like this quarterback comparison and money thing just really is irrelevant. I was like, it doesn't really matter. I was like this. So it's like on one hand, I'm like, hey, Tua got his money. It is what it is. Me on the other hand, I was like, I do understand that. I was like, even though I could be over here being like, yo, if it was up to me, I'd just probably let him go. But at the same time, that's easy for me to say because I'm not the one that being like, oh, my job's on the line, whether being a coach or the GM and all these other things. The amount of time that you had to put in rehabbing him to come back from his injuries and things like that. So I can't be the one that's sort of talk or whatever like that. But I was like, to me, I'm like, I would have probably waited after this year. If the money goes up, the money goes up. Boom. Also, fine. It's a win-win for everybody. You get Tua gets your money, and maybe we get a playoff victory. But you gave him Tua early. Hey, I was like, it is what it is. But let's not also act that he's a top 5 quarterback. He's not. I wouldn't really have him. I wouldn't probably have him in the top 10 of quarterbacks that I would necessarily like want. I would pick a bunch of them. Like yes, talent over him, but also I'm like, I feel like there's a bunch of them that I can say that's like probably over him as well too. So I was like, him being a top 5 quarterback and stats doesn't necessarily correlate to him being a top 5 quarterback, which doesn't correlate to being the top money getter at your position either. That's quarterback is not the same as wide receiver and stuff like that. Where it's like Justin Jefferson, he's the top receiver, he got the top money. CeeDee Lamb is going to be basically right there with him because top receiver. Like, so it's like in other positions, you're most likely actually at the top of your game in all those positions. Quarterback, that don't mean anything. That is what it is. I was like, quarterback, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be the best right now or up for a contract. Like, as long as you can play like good to great, you're going to get paid quarterback money. You just can't be poo-poo water out here. But anyway, glad Tua got his money. It is what it is. I was like, we're just going to be stuck where we're at. I was like, we're going to see. I was like, last year, I thought it was a really good opportunity to try to win the division. Didn't happen. This year, I think it's still pretty good, but we'll see. I was like, the offense still got most of its pieces. The defense, I was like, our pass rush is not there. So I was like, and Buffalo lost a lot, but it's not like it's like they lost a lot, but I feel like their continuity and they also sort of got the better quarterback that I think can make up for it as we seen last year. So I think we still got a good chance to win the division. And if you don't win the division again this year, and then the next, like you got Josh Allen in the division, I was like, that's already the game it is. The Jets should be better, so that's at least that's no more competition there. So I'm like, just don't fall to third. We don't care about the Patriots. They old new has-been. They starting over. But anyway, I just get tired of these type of contract conversations. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. What, too much money? Do you think? What do you think we're going to be at with Tua? Are we just going to be stuck in that little mediocrity bubble kind of thing? Probably. Tua give you over the hump type of thing. But anyway, till next time. Out.